racial diversity or a lack thereof.
We started by asking people at LDUB a question.
Is this school racially diverse?
Not really.
Absolutely not.
No.
Nope.
No.
Not really.
Yes, I do think it's diverse. I think we could be more diverse, but I think that we do a good job of having racial diversity.
Well, I would say somewhat, but that it's important for us to always try to do better.
Many private schools advertise their diversity, but many students do not feel a sense of belonging because of their racial identity. These students feel unwelcome because they cannot see themselves in their peers or staff, as well as the fact that topics such as race are not discussed enough. We took data from students in various schools around Seattle. We asked, how racially diverse do you think your school is? .9% of our survey takers answered that their schools are below a 5 on the racial diversity chart. 97.2% of our survey takers answered that their schools were below a 7 on the racial diversity chart. Only one person rated their school a 10 on the diversity scale. We interviewed leaders from various schools in Seattle to answer some questions. We asked Dr. Connor, LDUB's head of school, how do you view racial diversity?
The more lenses you have in a space, the more we grow. The more that we get to have real conversations, right? You don't want everything to be homogenous, because if everything is the same, then it always feels like groupthink.
We asked Ms. Mahtab Mahmouzada, the diversity director at Overlake, what is the impact of racial diversity on students?
The more you get to be in environments where there's diversity, where you begin to understand systems of power and privilege and disrupt them, you get to experience a bigger array of humanity. And that's always such an incredibly beautiful, transformative, powerful thing. Once you do that, you don't ever want to go back. And so that's the hope, especially in the kind of polarized nation we live in today.
We asked Zach Townsend, a coordinator at SAS, how does SAS try to create a racially diverse environment?
Yeah, so I think, we're at a point now where we're not trying to, the growth has happened. And, I think being inclusive is one thing, right? But making sure that kids feel a sense of belonging is even more important, right? And that's the next layer. So affinity groups just started up a couple years ago, and those were spaces that we didn't hold prior. And I think those have been really important.
We asked Sherilyn, a junior at Bush, if she thinks Bush is diverse.
Our Latinx club only has 6 students out of 300-400 that are in the upper school. And so we communicate with admissions and stuff like that, and they're we're trying to admit more diverse classes and stuff like that. I see that there's an effort to try to increase diversity, but at the moment it isn't that diverse.
As you can see, many students cannot see themselves in their communities, which has a negative effect on their lives and experiences. Many people do not feel a sense of belonging or inclusion. Our call to action. Viewing people as people, not a percentage to get more people to join the school. Advertise school in all communities so a range of people can see the school. Also making it more accessible for all people so that they are able to apply. Choosing students because they fit the school, not to fit the diversity quota that the school is lacking.